Good afternoon. Thank you for joining me. My name is Meredith Godsell, and today we will be reviewing a tool called Quizlet that can help you with your grade 4 week 23 lesson, or any lesson for that matter. Today we will be focusing on using Quizlet to create a vocabulary scaffold for your student. Vocabulary is the glue that binds communication and comprehension together. Research has shown that having strong working vocabulary knowledge bases help with reading comprehension and therefore improve access for those students who struggle with reading. Purposefully and intentionally utilizing scaffolds such as explicit directive instruction, mnemonic devices, visual and audio representations, and other assistive technology aids can help improve outcomes for students. Today, I'm going to show you how you can use an online tool called Quizlet to help your students and to create interactive flashcards for them. With these virtual flashcards, you can not only provide a student-friendly definition for your students to review, but you can also provide a visual representation of the word with links for them to explore, as well as an audio function to read the word card to the student. Research findings suggest that interventions that engage students with memory devices and graphic depiction paired with direct instruction are the most promising, while computer assistive instruction, even if not ideal as long-term vocabulary building strategies, can be used independently for student practice. So let us explore Quizlet together. So attached to the PowerPoint here is the link for both the vocabulary sheet that I'll use to introduce this week's words, as well as the editable link for Quizlet and the password that you need in order to edit the Quizlet link. I should note that the Quizlet link is already set up with the words from this week's critical vocabulary. However, if you do have something that you want to add in there, you are able to go through and do that with this link and password. So, so we're going to go through and look at the first scaffold that I created, which was a vocabulary sheet, and it has the word, part of speech, definition, using it in a sentence, and a picture. So students are able to use this to take their notes while reading the assigned texts for the week. So they're able to use several different ways to make sure that they understand what the word means and how to use it. It has all the words from this week's assigned texts. If you would like to add on to it, I completely understand. It may be that there aren't content specific words that have been highlighted that you would like to use, or it could be that this is a helpful um, chart for students who find additional words that they are not 100% sure what they mean, or um, yeah, what they mean. So if you would like to do that, you can always insert with this table, you can insert another table, or you can right click and you can insert columns, or you can insert rows. If you are going to do this, please go through and make your own copy so that way the original stays intact. You can do that just by clicking make a copy, and then it will be yours. You will be the owner and able to do whatever you need with it. You are able to assign this to your individual students on Google Classroom by creating an assignment and clicking the button make a copy for each student. So all of these words have now been taken and put into the Quizlet. So let's get into some Quizlet. So while the vocabulary chart was really helpful for in-class activities while they're doing the reading, this is a really great, good asynchronous activity or something that you can do with students for fun at the beginning to review previous day's words. Um, or if they finish early, they can quiz each other and different things like that. But this is especially good for independent work time or after school homework. And so as you can see, we have the word vibrate, and all I had to do was click, and it has the definition and a picture. And then I go to the next one, has the word, click, it has the definition and a picture. So pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Let's say I get a little bit bored. I'm like, well, flashcards are old school. They don't really work for me. There are all of these other ways to study and really learn your vocabulary words. So let's take a look at some of them. You can click on Learn, and they're able to do like a multiple choice quiz. And it'll even tell you they know them well, they're familiar, things like that. So they tell the progress, like how a student is doing, if they needed to try more than once, etc. They can write out the words. So they give the definition, and then students need to go through and type in the vocabulary word. They can spell them. So it's a type what you hear. So you just click on here.
Vibration.
Pretty straightforward. Very helpful. So, and if they want to switch, they can go to options and they can answer with the definition instead of the term, so on and so forth. You can turn your audio off. I recommend keeping it on, especially when you get if you're using this for more technical words too. Many students may know the word vibrate, but they might not. But especially within science, you can get some very difficult to sound out words. And so having the audio function is very helpful. And then we have test, where they go through and they have a little practice test. So if you're doing a quiz, this is especially helpful because it gives you all kinds of methods of learning it. It's not just multiple choice, it's multiple choice, true or false, etc., etc. We can go back. So once students have studied them and perfected their knowledge, they can go through and they can play a game. They can play match, they can play gravity, and they can also do live. And live is where they're able to work as a class and compete against each other and see who scores really highly. And that can be very fun for students who thrive with little competition. So gravity and match are both pretty straightforward. Kids love gravity. I think it's because it looks like a video game and it is fun. And you just go through, okay, and you can make it as easy or as hard as you want. Watch out for asteroids. And so you go through and you put them in and you type out your answer, whatever it may be. And it'll tell you whether you got it right or wrong. And so students are able to go back and study and understood what they got right and what they got wrong. So they're not just blindly typing anything in. So I'm going to pause. See? Even though I didn't put in my answer. And the more you practice and the more you get right, the higher your score. And I know for me, a lot of my students really thrive off of that. So it gives them an extra push of motivation. So last but not least, if you want to go through and edit it, you're able to click the edit button or click the link within the vocabulary tools Google slide, and it will actually take you to the editable link and you're able to share it. So I'm able to go on, share to my classroom, or I can just copy the link and share it in there. If you are linked up through your Google Classroom, then you can go through and check on how many students are participating and which students are participating and so on and so forth. So I think that I will do another video next time about sharing things on Google Classroom and linking your Google Classroom. Please note that Quizlet is free. You can upgrade and get extra fancy things, but everything I've shown you here is free. So that is something to be aware of. So if you're hesitant to use some of these tools because they may cost something, understand that this is a free educational tool for teachers. You do not need to have an account in order to use this. However, you can set up a free account. I hope this was really helpful. I will see you next week for some more helpful tools of technology.